The story with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the past few seasons has been when LeBron James is in the game, they are great, and then when LeBron sits, they're pretty mediocre. And that creates an awkward situation because when LeBron's 33 years old, you wouldn't want him playing 35 to 38 minutes every game. But that's unfortunately been what the Cavaliers have had to do in order to keep winning throughout the regular season. But it seems that they might have a solution on their hands, as Dwyane Wade came to Ty Lue a few games into the season and he said, "Have me come off the bench because I think it'll be better for us." And while Wade's 11 points per game don't jump out at you necessarily, given that he's doing it in about 22 to 23 minutes a game typically, a few more than that depending on how close it is down the stretch, sure, but the minutes are definitely down, but Wade's ability to be an efficient offensive player is still there. Sure, his three-pointer, it actually is better this season. He's shooting around 40% from out there, but he still only takes about one a game. So it's not like he's a lights-out outside shooter, and his athleticism has definitely declined. But Wade's ability of just still beating some guys off the bounce, knowing what to do in certain situations, and just being a really crafty offensive player overall still does well for him. He's shooting extremely well at the basket, around 70% right now. And he's been awesome for them. He's been a scorer that has allowed them to put LeBron on the bench, and the offense has not fallen apart when LeBron's not in the game. He's also averaging about 4 assists a game, that being D. Wade. The Cavaliers really only have one big playmaker in LeBron at this point. Last season they had Kyrie to help it out, and Darren Williams, at least in the regular season. And then years before that they've had Matthew Dellavedova as a third playmaker. Dwyane Wade's pretty much the only guy besides LeBron. Now once Isaiah Thomas comes back, and if Derrick Rose can find a way to be a part of winning basketball, then okay, you got a few more guys to help out, but the responsibility has been on Wade to make plays for others, and he's been able to do that. I mean, he's been playing basically the point guard position when LeBron has not been in the game, and he's been the reason why there have been 2 particular lineups for a combination of about 6 total players, or 7 if my math is correct, to where it's just not a bad thing when LeBron sits. And actually, the Cavaliers are technically better with LeBron James not in the game this season, which of course we know is just sometimes advanced stats go kind of crazy. But I mean, it's a combination of a few guys. You know, it's Channing Frye, who his three-pointers may not be going in like you'd want them to this season, but I think he's similar to Wade in the sense of he's a veteran and he just kind of knows what to do in right situations, and he provides spacing. There's Kyle Korver, who has been a fantastic fit with Dwyane Wade this season. The defense always has to stay glued to Korver, and even then he still finds a way to put up 7 to 10 points a game just from managing to get a couple of threes off. Jeff Green is having his best season in a long time. For a while, Green was one of those dudes where the idea of him was way better than the actual product, but Green's actually doing stuff. We'll see if he can keep that up. There's Cedi Osman, who is one of the more low-usage guys on the team, picks his spots a bit more, but he's been able to make his open shots, and he just hasn't screwed things up when he's in there. And then there's also been J.R. Smith as well, whose three-point shot has slowly crept up after it was really bad to start the season. And the guy making the plays for all these dudes, when it's not LeBron James, it's Dwyane Wade. And these lineups have just been great with Dwyane Wade as the leader. And so that's the perfect situation for the Cavs, right? I mean, LeBron and Wade together have still been very good. I think on the season with those two in the game, the Cavs are like +7. So now you have a guy in D. Wade who can play off of LeBron James, and I mean, we all knew he could do that anyway because they figured that out really well in Miami, but now you're able to carry stuff when LeBron's not in there as well, which is great. Kind of similar to what Eric Gordon is in Houston. Now, with all that being said, there are a couple of concerns I do have. Dwyane Wade with Kevin Love is like neutral on the season. It basically has a 0 net rating. And the reason that concerns me is because in the playoffs, when you're up against the better opponents, you might be forced to put D Wade and Kevin Love together just because you want your better players out there. And they, of course, could figure it out, but it is kind of weird that those two have not been very good together. And the other one is Dwyane Wade and Jay Crowder, where they're actually like -4 on the season. I mean, Crowder defends multiple positions and can hopefully hit outside shots. So he's another guy that you would hope to be able to play a lot of minutes deep into the playoffs. We'll just have to see what comes of that one. Now we ask what happens once Isaiah Thomas comes back. Well, I think in some ways it would make Dwyane Wade's job easier, because it's just another guy that the defense has to really command attention towards, you know? Because, I mean, Isaiah, as a pull-up jump shooter, as an isolation player, a pick-and-roll player and all that, he can do a lot of things, and D Wade has always been capable of playing off-ball, even if he's not really an outside shooter like that. So I think they could be okay. I do think it could require some push and pull just because they like to have the ball in their hands, but I don't think it'll be that difficult of a transition for D Wade and Isaiah Thomas to play together. And overall, Dwyane Wade's been great. You know, it's good to see a guy who is willing to swallow his pride a bit, notice what would be best for the team, and just take a lesser role, but have just a really efficient season, and he's making the Cavaliers better, no doubt about it. I would say he's definitely in the running for 6th man of the year, although Eric Gordon, I think, has a good case for that as well. We'll have to see how many games Gordon ends up starting, but D Wade's been great.